Cemetery Images magazine with an episode of Life on the Civil War Research Trail. Not one of my usual recorded ones, but this one is live. And I happen to be here in Arlington National Cemetery, where it is very quiet and peaceful. And I'm trying to keep my voice down out of respect for the solemn nature of this place, respect for the veterans who are interred in these hallowed grounds. It's a summer day. The humidity is down. The sun is high. You can hear the cicadas in the background, the occasional hum of an airplane as it makes its way to Washington Reagan National Airport. I've come a good long ways here to section 3 of the cemetery. It's towards one corner of the very large Arlington National Cemetery. And as I was walking, I reflected on the reason why I'm here today, in this moment. It's a journey that began in Ohio a couple of years ago when I met a dealer named Bill Griffin. He deals in Civil War artifacts and World War II artifacts. And Bill reached out to me because he had a collection of materials related to a Civil War soldier. There were photographs, plenty of photographs, documents, other letters, and he invited me to visit him at his table at the Mansfield, Ohio Civil War Show, which I did, and became quite entranced with what he had. Last year, I showed up again. Bill and I met. I had my scanner. We had a couple of hours to scan as much material as we could. And so those moments are memorable for me as I was working with Bill to scan photographs and documents and all of that. By the way, I'm seeing lots of hellos come through. Hey, how's everyone doing? It's hard for me to see here on my phone with the shadows, but I'll do my best. I'm acknowledging everyone who's here, a blanket acknowledgement. Anyway, back to the story. I scanned all these images from Bill, and Bill told me a bit about what he knew. All of these artifacts revolve around the life and the service of a single soldier. His name is Ira Quinnby, and you subscribers or watchers of this channel may have recalled a video I did about a paper he wrote during his time in the regular army towards the end of his career. I believe the essay was written in 1895, and the essence of it was, in times of peace, prepare for war, a common theme, particularly in America. And since then, that was one of the first things I did was to transcribe that essay, which I believe was about 18 pages, handwritten by Quinnby. So I began digging into the rest of his life and his story. And this is where the Life on the Civil War Research Trail journey, as it always does, takes unexpected, unanticipated twists and turns. So Quinnby's journey began in New York, where he eventually, as a young man, he wound up moving to the West, settling in various states for 1 year at a time. And around 1858-59, when Pike's Peak, the gold rush there began, he took off and went to check out what was going on in territory of Colorado. And I'm not quite sure if he went there to mine for gold and make a small fortune or be a merchant. That detail I've yet to find out. But what I did learn is he was described as a businessman working in the town of Golden City, which today is Golden in Colorado, right around the turn of the Civil War. And when that happened, he joined the Army, volunteered, set aside his career, and I'm sure he could not have known at the time, but when he volunteered in Colorado and wound up joining one of the Colorado infantry regiments that became the Colorado Cavalry, he probably had no idea that it was going to turn out to be his life's work, his entire career. Anyway, that was still in the future for him. but in 1861 and 1862, defending Colorado territory against the very real possibility of Confederate incursions, whether it was by regular Confederate forces or guerrillas, partisan rangers, if you will. That was not known, possibly expected. It was also the very real tensions that had formed between settlers, white settlers who had moved into the territory, taking advantage of the possibilities of gold with Pikes Peak, and of course, unsettling the Native American populations who were there, and the tensions were building. So it was something of a dual mission in Colorado. Anyway, that led to a lot more research to figure out where his story went. It turns out that he took a detour himself into the United States Signal Corps, and that detour into the Signal Corps led to him being at Fort Leavenworth, later being attached to the American Army that was commanded in Missouri, in the Department of Missouri, by Rosecrans, General William Rosecrans, and later by others. And he eventually was at the Battle of Westport in Missouri, in St. Louis, and then Kansas City. The Battle of Westport, just south of Kansas City. Some historians call it the Battle of the Gettysburg of the West. And so this long path from New York to Colorado territory to just outside of St. Louis and the Battle of Westport, the Gettysburg of the West, and then a long career that followed after that along the frontier. Eventually, he's in Washington, D.C., and then New York. He passes, and he's buried here in Arlington National Cemetery, just a few miles from my home. So here the research trail ends. It ends for Ira Quinnby right here in Arlington National Cemetery. And I'm just a few feet from his gravesite. Let me see if I'm going to take you over there so we can see it. Stepping out of the shadows, here is Quinnby's site. Next to him is his son, Eugene, and his wife, Ellie. They're all buried together here in Arlington National Cemetery. And so this is a moment for me of solemn reflection, because I'm thinking about all of the research that I did. I'm thinking about the journey that this man went on from New York out to Colorado, into Missouri and Kansas, and then Washington, back to New York, and then here. And the fact that it's practically in my own backyard makes it, I don't know, it touches me in a very personal way. I come here quite often to Arlington National Cemetery to reflect and to think about. It's a good opportunity to take a break and let my thoughts congeal and bring things together. And it's also a bittersweet moment in a way. I spent a lot of time Quinnby, which will be in the next issue, the autumn issue of Military Images magazine. I'll probably share more of it on the YouTube channel. So some bittersweet memories when I'm finished with a large and meaningful project. I always think back about all the research moments. I think back about meeting Bill Griffin and what he did. He saved a collection. Who knows what would have happened to it? He saved a collection. He alerted me to it. And he's as much a part of the journey as I am. I feel like he's standing here with me right now, along with the Quinnbys. It seems a very fitting tribute to do this video, to remember this moment. Up here, I'm on a hill overlooking Washington, D.C. Behind me is the tomb of the unknown soldier. And way back that way is the section, some of the sections where most of the Civil War veterans, a lot of the generals are buried. I'm heading up that way next. So thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next recorded episode of Life on the Civil War, a research trail. Thanks all for listening.